Would Kevin Owens reveal why he attacked Chris Jericho last week? And two giants collided in the main event of this week's Monday Night Raw. Get ready, guys and gals, because it's time for WGS-TV Reviews Monday Night Raw for the week of February 20th, 2017. Hey, YouTube, are you ready for your hot tag? Because if you are, it's definitely time to work.
Hi, I'm Lisa Marie, and you're watching The Wrestle Gamer on WGS-TV.
What's up, guys? I'm the Wrestle Gamer. Welcome back to another episode of WGS-TV right here on YouTube.com/WrestleGamer. And let me go ahead and introduce the panel for this week's Monday Night Raw review. First off, you know him as our resident music mogul over on YouTube.com/LanceMossTV, the incomparable Lance Moss. Lance, how you doing?
Better than back and better than ever.
And the host of the Project Kayfabe here on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, Curtis is here. Curtis, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Now, one of the major things going into this week's Monday Night Raw is what happened last week with Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho and why Owens attacked Jericho. One of the things I talked about on Sports Entertainment Tonight this past week was one of the reasons is the fact that storyline-wise, Jericho got Owens into the match with Goldberg at Fastlane for the Universal Championship. Now, would Owens say anything about Jericho on this week's Monday Night Raw? To answer that question, let's talk about Raw. Monday Night Raw would open up this week with Kevin Owens in the middle of the ring with the spotlight on him, creating a sort of dark atmosphere for the promo. Owens would then proceed to cut a promo on Goldberg and Fastlane, which was slow, deliberate, and concise. One could say this is a change in Owens' character from coward heel to dark and dangerous heel. One thing fans wanted to hear was the explanation of Owens' actions towards Chris Jericho last week, but it didn't happen. I'm not surprised that they couldn't go further with the angle just yet. All things considered, Owens is working an angle with Goldberg at Fastlane, but I do speculate, Lance, that Jericho will make an appearance at Fastlane.
I almost speculate that I think it's going to happen. The reason Owens is going to lose the title, long story short, Jericho's going to screw him out of it. And bam, right to Mania they go.
Overall, this was one of KO's better promos on the main roster. I'm pretty sure Andy would agree with us, Lance. I'm going to give that I'm going to give that one a 3.95 out of 5. What about you, Lance?
Well, I know for a fact he gave him shit crap during the entire thing because I was watching the Raw with him. But yeah, it was very good. Definitely a good way to see Owens evolve.
I have to agree with you. Curtis, what about you?
Seeing Owens do the promo reminded me back in the days when Eddie Guerrero did that to Rey Mysterio, when Batista did that, when Seth Rollins did that and stuff like that. Just sat down in the chair in the front of the ring. That was pretty great. I mean, in the ring, in the middle of the ring. That was pretty great.
Oh yeah.
Chris Jericho has to be at Fastlane because he got the match against Sami Zayn for the United States Championship. I think it is.
He does? At Fastlane? No, I thought Sami Zayn was working an angle with Samoa Joe. Well,
yeah.
We'll look more into that. We'll look more into that, ladies and gentlemen, quite possibly I'll see if I can find an answer to that, and I'll talk about it on Sports Entertainment Tonight this Thursday night at 9 p.m. Central Time. First match this week was Cesaro and Sheamus taking on Enzo, Amore, and Big Cass, with the winners getting a shot at the Raw Tag Team Championship at Fastlane. I don't know how much I can stress, Lance, about how underrated and underutilized Cesaro is in the WWE.
Yeah, it goes back to that Vince podcast. You know, I think it was Stone Cold show. They underrate him, but he's one hell of a worker.
Definitely. He's an amazing talent, and that talent was definitely on display during this match. Now, Enzo really took some hard bumps, which apparently, Curtis, he has a knack for doing.
Well, you know what? You see Cesaro, Vince McMahon says he's still bored of him, if you read about it. He still says he's bored of him. I don't know why. I mean, that guy's a great talent. If you have him in the WWE, you gotta give him something. I mean, like, he's better than Sheamus. He's better than half the roster you got there already on the WWE. Like, it was phenomenal seeing using AJ's word, phenomenal. To see him, what he did in that ring last night was pretty impressive for me.
Yep. The finish of the match was Big Cass hitting the H River crossing on Cesaro to pick up the win. After the match, Enzo got on the mic and told Cesaro he had kryptonite because, you know, he's the Swiss Superman, and Sheamus bro kicked him for it. Now, do I see Cesaro and Sheamus interfering at Fastlane during the title match? Well, I'll say this, guys. The possibility is there, and that they could push a triple threat angle for the Raw Tag Team Championship at WrestleMania. Lance, what do you think?
Honestly, I hope they don't, because I do not like when it gets more than just team on team or one on one in the WWE. That's just my personal, unless it's something like Helmet, like a Chamber. That's just personal opinion.
When it comes to this match, I'm gotta say, good match content. I'm very interested to see where they go next with this angle. I give it a 3 out of 5. Curtis, what's your score?
I'd give it I'd say maybe a 4 out of 5.
And Lance, what about you?
Yeah, 4 out of 5.
Up next, it was the Brian Kendrick taking on Akira Tozawa, but before the match could start, Kendrick would assault Tozawa, which leads me to believe that they did this for 2 reasons. 1, time filler. 2, to build into a feud for them, which I believe is going to happen on 205 Live tonight. Now, I did get some heat on Kendrick, though, so for what it was, I gotta believe it served its purpose, so I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5 just for that. Lance, what do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think they're gonna be, like you said.
Are you guys still there?
Yeah.
Okay, and Curtis, what about you?
I didn't get to see that, but if I did, so he's really great in the ring and on promo, so he has time with that, so I didn't get to see it, but if I did, I wish I could.
Up next, it was Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson taking on Roman Reigns. This was set up during a backstage segment, originally as a tag team match, as Mick Foley gave Reigns the option for a tag team partner. Now, there were a lot of rumors of The Rock supposedly going to appear on Raw this week, and then I had a knot in my stomach, which was making me sick, because I personally thought that The Rock was going to be his partner, but thankfully, that didn't happen. The match was ended with Reigns using a steel chair on Gallows and Anderson, ending the match on disqualification. But however, Reigns would hit a very, very wicked spear on Anderson off the top rope, as Reigns was really made to look strong at the expense of the Raw Tag Team Champions. Lance, do you think that this was the right move for WWE to do?
For Reigns, yes, but they could have picked somebody else. Hell, do a quick trade for the Ascension, a big badass team that they already make look like hell. But you do that to your tag champs? What the hell are you thinking, Vince?
Curtis, do you agree with that?
I do agree with that. But I don't like Roman Reigns.
I don't either, but
it's not because the other fans don't like him. I just don't like him because even when he started back in NXT, even when he was on the indie scene, I never liked him. I never liked him one bit, and I'm still gonna get rid of him. And I'm gonna get hate for that, but that's my opinion. I never liked him when he did promos in the Shield. You know, I liked him back when he was in the Shield because he did barely any promos. He did barely any work. It was so great. That's the only reason why I liked him. Now
he was always very robotic. I always found him to be very robotic in his promos, and he definitely doesn't put any emotion into it. He does put a little bit into it, but it's very few and far between that we see that happen. I'm going to go ahead and give this match a...
He needs to go back to the training. He needs to go back to the performance center and start training. Start getting get someone who can help him with the promos. I'd say like maybe someone who knows a lot of promos who can actually do that. Who actually knows how to do a promo, which you don't like. Ric Flair or maybe Stone Cold Steve Austin, maybe like Dwayne Johnson.
Who knows? Who knows? My score is 3.75 out of 5. Lance, what's your score?
Yeah, it's not like he's related to somebody who's really, really good at promos. Oh, wait. But yeah, to scroll on a storyline, I gotta go, it's good, but because they basically made their tag champs look weak, I gotta go with it too.
And Curtis, what's your score? Curtis? Well, anyway, up next it was the New Day taking on Rusev and Jinder Super Steroids Mahaal. First off, Lana was smoking hot last night, but Lance, she's still not Asuka hot. That's all I'm going to say.
That's personal preference, but I could say at least... No, I think you think she's Oksana
Don't say
hot.
it. No. He went there. He went there.
Yeah.
Now, I think Curtis just had to step out for a second because now apparently the New Day is building an ice cream machine and they had plans for it somehow. Lana got a copy of their plans. But I gotta say this, the New Day has really gone from being entertaining to just being plain silly. And as of late, and yet the crowd seemed to eat it up, no pun intended. They would also make the announcement that they would be hosting WrestleMania this year, which tells me that the New Day will not be actively involved in an angle for WrestleMania this year. Now, as to what they're going to be doing as host for WrestleMania is still unknown at this time. Now, as far as this actual match goes, it was okay despite the actual silliness of what the New Day gimmick has become. The finish of the match was the New Day hitting the midnight hour on Mahaal to pick out the win. Lance, my score is a 2.95 out of 5. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, y'all know I'm not a big tag guy, but my one thought was, how... I'm glad they have enough money to destroy an iPad like that.
It didn't really look like a genuine iPad to me.
It was probably a used iPad from like a pawn shop. That's what W would do.
Well, still probably a nice chunk of change, you know?
Yeah, you got a point there. Curtis, what's your score for the match?
Well, I like the part. I'm gonna go. Do you mind if I add? I don't know if you don't mind if I add this part in, but when Big E said, "Well, I'll kick my foot up 4 of your cheeks, not you, Lana," I laughed so hard at that. It was the funniest thing ever. And I'd probably have to give that match a 3 out of 5.
Up next, it was the contract signing for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship for Fastlane as Neville defends the title against gentleman Jack Gallagher. And of course, with Gallagher being the gentleman that he is, he brought tea and biscuits to the contract signing. Now, Neville wanted to quickly just sign the contract and leave, but Gallagher drew him back in. Neville laid in some traditional heel insults, insults towards Gallagher's character, and in response, Gallagher would defend his character, which would lead into the eventual physical confrontation between them. So, guys, a typical WWE contract signing. 3.5 out of 5. Lance, what do you think?
Well, every time I hear them calling him Gentleman Jack, me being the Southern boy I am, you know where I'm going with this, Billy.
Hey,
that's
we're
a brand
both from the South.
That's a branded Jack Daniels.
I think that's probably why they went that route. Curtis, what did you think?
I'd probably give it a 2 out of 5.
All right, up next it was Nia Jax squashing some jobber named Sarah Pierce, and then would make the proclamation that she wants the next shot. Time filler. 2 out of 5. Do we need to go on with this?
No.
Nope.
All right, thank you. Up next, Bayley was talking about her championship win and what it meant to her until... I heard myself echoing for a minute. What it meant to her until Stephanie McMahon came out trying to persuade her into relinquishing the title due to the fact that it was a tainted win due to the interference of Sarah Banks behind the referee's back last week. Banks would then come out to defend Bayley, and after considering her options, Bayley chose to keep her title, which brought out the former Raw Women's Champion, who made the announcement that she's cashing in her rematch clause at Fastlane, and considering the fact that everyone there, barring Stephanie McMahon, were in their ring gear, led me to believe that someone was going to be in a match, and no surprises here, it was the boss, Sasha Banks and Charlotte, for the umpteenth time in the WWE. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, Lance, but hasn't that horse been beaten to death already?
Yeah. I still don't get why every time a competitor's in the ring, even if they're doing commentary or escorting somebody to the ring, why they got to be in their gear if they're not competing?
I know. I really don't have an answer for that. But as far as the match goes, I got to say it was a good match. Now, once again, Dana Brooke, who, by the way, I'll say it again, looks in much better shape than she used to be. She used to be a little thick, but now she looks like she's leaned out a bit, and she's cut a little bit, so she's starting to look like the Dana Brooke that she was in NXT. She did look good, but she would make an appearance as Bayley was on commentary during the match. Bayley would stop her, and which distracted Charlotte, allowing Banks to lock in the Banks statement to pick up the win. A great promo, followed by a good match. I gotta say, Curtis, a 3.65 out of 5. What do you think?
I could care less for the Charlotte versus Sasha Banks match.
Yeah, but what about the promo with Bayley and them?
The promo is pretty... not that bad. I'd give it a 2.5 out of 5.
You're not big on the women's division on Monday Night Raw, are you?
Not really. I think they need more women that can actually show. Like, you got Alicia Fox, you got Summer Rae, you got people like that that need to be used, right?
That's the one person we have yet to see since the draft from last year. Summer Rae has not made one appearance on Monday Night Raw since the draft. Now, why is that? I don't know.
Could they be cold on Summer Rae?
Possibly. Lance, do you have a score for this?
I'm a hugger, but
we know
other than that,
All right. Up next, it was Sami Zayn taking on Kevin Owens, but before the match could start, Samoa Joe would once again attack Zayn from behind, which leads me to believe, Curtis, that they're working a match at Fastlane, which is why I had to disagree with you about the whole Sami Zayn, Chris Jericho United States title match for Fastlane.
I wish, I know I love Samoa Joe, but I wish it never happened, because when it comes to Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, or El Generico, I can't pronounce it right.
El Generico, yeah.
Yeah, you had it right.
Versus Kevin Steen, I love those matches, straight up.
Yeah, but I believe more of the reason why they did it like this, because more of the focus of this was more directed towards the Zayn Joe angle more than anything. So that was more directed towards that. So it really wasn't too much of a focus on Kevin Owens. So I got to give it a 3 out of 5. Lance, what do you think?
Yeah, I was thinking, honestly, they kind of overdid the Zayn Stain stuff. I honestly want them to headline a WrestleMania one year, but just not quite yet, because those two guys will blow the damn roof off that place.
Oh, yeah.
But it worked to further the angle between Joe and Zayn.
Yeah, it definitely did. And again, we're just speculating as to whether or not they're going to have a match. You know, we're just basing it on what we see on Monday Night Raw this week and last week. So there's no spoilers here. We're not saying for certain, but be sure to possibly look for a match announcement, if not during this week, but next week on Monday Night Raw, especially since next week's Monday Night Raw is the go-home show for Fastlane. Backstage, Michael Cole was conducting an interview with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman about the Lesnar versus Goldberg match for WrestleMania and Goldberg's Universal Championship match with Kevin Owens at Fastlane. Lesnar would then proceed to sit in front of the camera, bopping his head around, looking like the fool only Lesnar can be, while Paul Heyman carried the whole promo himself. Heyman was great. Lesnar was Lesnar. What else can I say, Lance?
He was a little too damn close to the camera.
Yeah.
I told him, it's like,
Well, you know what? For what it was, I'm going to give it a 3.85 out of 5. Curtis, what do you think?
I agree with you there, Billy. I'd agree with you on that one. I'd give it a 3.9 instead, though.
Up next, it was the main event as Braun Strowman took on The Big Show. First off, Strowman showed some great agility for a big man, especially with the Shawn Michaels kip-up during the match. The majority of this match was Strowman dominating Big Show, with Show getting in a few moves in during the match. Now, when Show placed Strowman on the top rope, it brought everyone to their feet, as everybody there wanted to see two giants superplex each other, but it wouldn't happen. Now, as far as this match goes, for two big men, this was a really well-worked match, with the finish of the match being Strowman hitting not one, but two power slams on Big Show to pick up the win. And as expected, Roman Reigns came out and would once again get power slammed by Strowman to end Monday Night Raw this week. So Lance, surprisingly, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5.
I wouldn't go that far.
Why not?
For those two guys, okay, one, it's two giants working together. It takes away a lot of their moves. They ain't gonna be able to throw each other around and stuff like that. It honestly, it's like Kevin Nash has said in the interview. Why do you want to see me versus Big Show? We can barely do anything. It was basic, but it was well worked. I'd probably go 3.5 out of 5.
I would probably have to go 4.5 out of 5. I mean, these giants, Big Show and Braun Strowman, Big Show's training Braun Strowman, look what he did. He did what Shawn Michaels did. He did that kick up, right? And then he did that roll over and everything. That's great. What you don't see many giants doing that in the size of what they are. That's great. They're athletic, they're talented. That was a great physical match. I love that match, and I praise it.
Don't look for anything like that with Big Show and Shaquille O'Neal for WrestleMania.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Overall score on Raw this week, it's a 3.5 out of 5 with best match of the night. Surprisingly, going to Strowman versus Show, and again, I say surprisingly, with worst segment of the night going to Lesnar bobbing his head up and down in front of a camera like an idiot. Lance, over to you. What's your overall score and your picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw this week?
Well, my best match probably got to go to the Enzo and Cass versus Cesaro and Sheamus. Worst got to be Brock looking like a big ass bobblehead. I like Brock, but just don't head up and down, head up and down, head up and down, head up. The hell.
Just thinking about it makes me laugh. Curtis, over to you. Your overall score and your picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw this week.
Probably the worst segment would probably be Brock Lesnar. I didn't understand that. The match is it so pick. What was it again?
Well, my best match was Strowman versus Show.
Yes, that would be the best match of the night.
So, that's been our opinions this week. As I'm opening up a little Powerade right here. Excuse me for that. What we want to know from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts on Monday Night Raw this week. What are your overall scores? What are your picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw this week? I want to hear what you guys have to say. Be sure you put your comments in the comments section below. If you guys like this video, make sure you slam that like button like a champ. Lance, what can fans expect to see when they come visit your channel over on youtube.com/LanceMossTV? On
Mondays, blues covers or rants, and maybe my Redneck Gourmet cooking series. On Wednesdays, you got my live show, youtube.com. That's Lance Moss TV and Friends. I never know who's going to show up. And Fridays, you got me doing guitar builds.
And yes, ladies and gentlemen, Curtis is the host of the podcast, The Project Kayfabe. Curtis, tell everybody about it.
You can suspect there's going to be Nick Busick, the original bully of professional wrestling, coming on our podcast as an interview on March 3rd, 2017. And we'll have more from that. We'll have Jamie Levian's coming on soon. And you can expect more with the podcast coming up. We're going to be redecorating it and everything, so it'll be great to see.
All right, and don't forget, you guys can check me out live Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Central Time, right here on WGS-TV with Nick Nede Fuquay and Mark the Smart Traha. We're definitely going to have a lot to talk about this week, especially with what happened on Monday Night Raw this past week. We're going to find out what they had to think, as well as taking your calls and chat room questions this Thursday night, 9 p.m. Central Time. And also, guys, if you want to see more of wrestling talk with awesome gameplays right here on my channel, you know the ways you got to do it. You got to hit that subscribe button and click that bell icon to turn on notifications so that way you never miss out on another video right here on my channel. So with special thanks to the incomparable Lance Moss and Curtis from the Project Kayfabe podcast, I am your friendly neighborhood Russell Gamer, and I will see you next time right here on WGS-TV. Bye, guys!